How can a city with no streets have such iconic street food? Venetian Cicchetti may seem quite simple, but come in many different delicious varieties and are the perfect introduction to Venetian cuisine in general. So, as your food guide, I'm going to show you the best Cicchetti that you need to try while you're in Venice, my personal favorite spots where you can find them, you know, the ones locals love, and finally some valuable cultural insights that you mustn't overlook. Here's everything you need to know about Venetian Cicchetti.
Would you like to eat some beautiful Venetian food?
We'd love to.
I'll show you this place.
We'll do this in Venice's 6 neighborhoods, known as Sestiere. And to best understand Cicchetti and Venice in general, you don't head straight to Piazza San Marco. You wake up early and you come here. Mercato Rialto in San Polo. This is where Venice feeds itself. Markets like this, they're some of the last honest places in a city drowning in masks and souvenir stands. Rialto has been here for nearly 1,000 years, making it one of the oldest continuously operating markets in Europe. This is where Cicchetti were born. And if you're interested in tasting some of the freshest seafood in Venice, look no further. Osteria I Campari, a pulperia, Octopus Central. Right on the market's edge, eye level with the fishmongers. This is the perfect place to try a classic old-school cicchetto. Seppia or folpetti in umiro, that is cuttlefish or baby octopus stewed in wine, tomato, garlic, and olive oil, served on the traditional grilled white polenta. Although cicchetti are often associated with afternoon aperitivo, the real OGs eat it like this, as a morning snack after running errands at the market. Speaking of which, it's 11 o'clock. Time to follow any one of these non-naturales into the back alleys of the market, and you'll likely end up at one of my favorite BACARI in Venice. Underneath this arch, Venetians will meet to chat over a morning drink at a place serving some of the most creative cicchetti you'll find on this island. All'Arco, my go-to baccaro. It fills up quick, but if you come before noon, you'll be able to enjoy it at its best. That's when Matteo begins dishing out his daily inspirations, based on what the fishermen and merchants bring him that day. Truffle, eel, sea bass, fried oysters, fresh tuna, sorpresa sausage, and radicchio. A real treasure cove. There's always new ingredients appearing behind this glass. One topping that always shows up, though, is a must. Baccalà alla Vicentina. Dried stockfish, slowly simmered in onions, garlic, anchovies, milk, and cheese. Smooth and delicious. So wash it all down with a glass of Malvasia, because we've got more BACARI to visit. BACARI are the city's neighborhood bars, tiny, dimly lit dens where locals crowd the counter for cicchetti and a glass of inexpensive but dangerously good wine. The word baccaro likely traces back to Bacchus, the Roman god of wine and excess. In fact, just around the corner from All'Arco, you'll find one of Venice's oldest BACARI. Cantina do Mori has been around since medieval times, and nothing much has changed since, neither the decor nor the food. Apparently Casanova brought his lovers here, not just to flirt, but because the place had a back door, perfect for slipping out when a furious husband came crashing in. Despite its popularity, I like Do Mori, because aside from being an attraction in its own right, it preserves a quiet atmosphere and is still frequented by many local Venetians. This becomes apparent if you come early. I would try the artichokes, or carciofi, alongside their wide selection of classic cicchetti. And don't forget the small glass of wine, known in Venice as an ombra. It literally means shadow, because it was by staying under the shadow of San Marco's clock tower that early wine merchants were able to keep their wine cool. Let's discover another area, Venice's most densely populated sestiere, CANNAREGIO. Here, the higher buildings and small calle of the Jewish ghetto are a great place to stay cool during the day or explore the mysteries of the Serenissima by night. In the heart of this historic neighborhood is a cozy Baccaro that holds a very special place in my heart. Al Tappo, the first I ever visited, come to think of it. Many years later, it's still as welcoming, still as peaceful. The soft jazz and interior garden is perfect for resting your legs and spirits. It has a great wine selection without overdoing it with the natural wines. In fact, it's here where I fell in love with Venetian Garganega, thanks to the kind staff who are always helpful with recommendations. The counter features a simple selection of Cicchetti that stands out by featuring some small, slightly more elaborate concoctions. Venetians are big fans of meatballs or polpette. Here they are again in umido, stewed with tomatoes. Another must-try is fiori di zucca in carrozza, or deep-fried zucchini flowers stuffed with melted mozzarella. Epic. Now, if you're thoroughly relaxed and feel like a little more action, right next to the Jewish ghetto, you'll find what I like to call the Strip. Fondamenta della Misericordia. At sunset, this canal front is where locals, artists, and travelers convene for aperitivo, the liveliest place in Venice. When it comes to watering holes, one is spoiled for choice here. But for the best Cicchetti, head to Baccaro ai Bricoi. Sure, they lean a little too hard on the natural wines for my taste.
It's the schmee. It's the schmee right there.
But there's enough to love here that I keep coming back. It's a social joint, busy, alive, without the endless lineups you get at Vino Vero nearby. What really shines here is the baccalà mantecato, hands down the best in Venice, whipped laboriously by hand. Think of it as the tuna nigiri of Cicchetti, the baseline test. If the bacala is fresh, you can trust everything else. If it reeks, walk out, and then walk here instead. Their unique selection of polpette flavors is a must-try also. Word for the wise, people come to this area to party. That's fine, but remember, this isn't Disneyland. People actually live here. Families, old folks, people who've got to get up for work in the morning. So do everyone a favor, keep it down.
Venice.
While it's true that Venice can be overrun by a lot of tourism, it's also easy to find yourself alone. And to uncover some of its most hidden gems, we'll have to wander off that beaten path to Venice's most humble sestiere, Santa Croce. I won't lie that I've hesitated for a long time about whether I should reveal this next place. Not because it's bad, quite on the contrary. This inconspicuous little hidden Baccaro is as genuine as it gets. That's why its atmosphere is also so fragile. This is the Venice of old. Places like this, bars that still serve actual Venetians, they're disappearing, either shuttered for good or watered down for the tourist trade. But here, it's different. Simple, quiet, local. It's run by Luigia, 84 years old, running the show. She'll pour you a glass of Malvasia straight from a massive flask, and if you're lucky, slip in a little life advice while she does it. There's no signs, no website. It lies hidden to passers-by and visited only by people who know it. P.S. Shout out to the only cyclist I've ever seen in Venice. Respect. While I was kindly asked by a local not to share her favorite hideaway with the general public, you may be able to find it following the clues I've hidden in the video or with my personal Venice street food map, the one I usually keep just for my guests. But due to popular demand, I'm making it available to you. It's a Google Maps list to the city's local BACARI, pastry shops, market stalls, greenhouse cafes, and more. As a bonus, since so many people reached out wanting to hire me as their guide, I've included a self-guided food route. It starts with breakfast, a €2 gondola ride to the market, tiramisu production, and aperitivo in so many smaller spots no food tour could ever bring you to. So hit the link below, grab the map, and experience the very best of Venice's street food. Speaking of which, let's now head to one of my favorite sestiere in Venice, Dorsoduro, the University District. Most of the Cicchetti we've covered so far have been traditional recipes. But if you want to get creative, one of the largest and most diverse selection can be found behind the counter of Gia Schiavi. This wine shop in Dorsoduro is the kind of place you promise yourself you'll just stop in for one plate, one glass. But that's a lie. It always is. The Cicchetti here are too good. The choices, too many.
Fare i cicchetti nel mio mondo è una cosa che credo di aver realizzato nella vita, anche perché negli anni 70 ho iniziato a azzardare dei cicchetti innovativi.
For half a century, Alessandra has been behind this counter, the undisputed champion of Cicchetti. Her favorite creation?
Beh, è quello che mi ha dato l'opportunità di andare in Messico per un concorso, è la tarta di tonno con il cacao amaro. Cioè un azzardo, però amalgamato ai vari ingredienti è stato un successone.
Her creations are a piece of art. Tuna tartare dusted with cocoa powder, egg with truffles and mushroom, cuttlefish, samphire and pink pepper, egg yolk with flowers. I could go on, but every day there's over 50 of these treasures on display. At €1.50 to €2 a piece, this is insane value. You don't need to read the labels, just trust your gut. What you don't do is stand here asking 20 questions while the line piles up behind you. This isn't a place for dietary whims or special requests. Just look, point, and eat. Sure enough, one round becomes two becomes three, but it doesn't matter, because if you're going to overindulge, Venice is the best place to do it. Sometimes you want something more refined, more chic, not another centuries-old tavern. I get it. A place where you actually go to and it feels like a night out. Sparleffo San Pantalon is that place. Imagine a 1960s Chicago cocktail bar crossed with a Venetian BACARI. Mixologist cocktails, quality wines, botanical infusions, the works. Maybe even a little live music. The food, solid. Fritura, stews laid over polenta, and a nice variety of cicchetti. This is the spot for when Venice feels like it belongs to you and the person across the table. A date night that proves that Venice isn't all about postcards and gondolas.
Non credo che accetterò di spegnermi così, come una candela.
If you're looking for the most peaceful and green areas in Venice, head to Castello. A great spot to grab aperitivo before eating at one of my favorite trattorie nearby is Bassego. Cocktails mixed with care, a decent craft beer list, if that's your sort of thing.
It's the Schmee. That's the Schmee right there.
And a terrace big enough to stretch out on. Families, kids, locals hanging out. The kind of place where you can just sit, sip, and watch the neighborhood go about its business.
Excuse me.
Now, I know I said one spot in every sestiere, and you're probably wondering, what about San Marco? The big one, the one everyone knows. Truth is, find me a local and authentic spot in San Marco, and I'll pin your comment to the top of the page.
Signore?
Jug of water, please, with ice.
Water?
Still, there's one Venetian institution every food tour trots out, Rosticceria Gislon. Honestly, I was skeptical. Too close to the Rialto, too many guidebooks pointing to it. That usually means crowds, but a colleague swore by it, so here I am. First impression, packed, wall-to-wall people, no chance of a seat. But I'm here on a mission, so we'll let the food do the talking. The house speciality, mozzarella in carrozza, basically a Venetian grilled cheese gone wild, deep-fried, golden, obscene. For your health. I go for the one with anchovy, for a little umami kick. I know cheese and seafood supposedly a no-go in Italy, but to every Italian food rule, there's an exception, clearly. One bite in, it's molten, salty, rich, everything you want when you're starving. But would I cross town just for this? Surely not. This one's a pit stop, a cheesy, decadent pit stop before moving on to somewhere quieter. Venice has better places to sit, drink, and breathe. So if you want the full picture, the tramezzini, the pasticcerie, the cicchetti, the dives, and the views, it's all in my street food map to Venice. It includes every spot in this list and much more. Get it through the link in the description.
One thing you should keep in mind is that Cicchetti is an aperitivo, right? So you can eat one or two, but don't fill up on them. I know the temptation is hard, but a lot of tourists kind of overload on them and then they're full, which would be unfortunate because you'd be missing out on this great variety of Venetian dishes that you should discover. That being said, I hope this little Cicchetti guide helped make your trip more delicious, and I'll see you on the next adventure.